Let's get your top story. And continuous water discharge from the Hatnikund barrage in the national capital's Yamuna River district has in fact brought about life to a standstill in certain parts of Delhi. Water logged in various parts. This is the worst flooding that Delhi has seen in 45 years.
Divya is of course referring to the Hatnikund barrage in the Yamuna River district of Haryana. That has led to this worst flooding in the capital in 45 years. But the water began flowing into some of Delhi's main arteries, like the Ring Road, as we've been covering since yesterday, as well as the GT Karnal Road. And it's also inundated residential areas of civil lines, the transport hub ISBT, as well as Kashmiri Gate, besides low-lying areas near Kalindi Gunj.
Now, after 3 critical water plants had to be closed, this is because of that water flow. Late last night, authorities were struggling to repair and open some gates at the IGO barrage and also fix a DJP regulator near the Indraprastha metro station, which collapsed under pressure, threatening to throw water further into the city towards Mathura Road. This could basically, Parmeshwar, mean near the Supreme Court.
Right, Divya. Also, a total of 23,692 people were evacuated just yesterday from the adjacent areas of the Yamuna River in Delhi as the water level continued to rise yesterday. But luckily this morning, we are hearing relieving news that it has started to recede slightly for now. But what is the government doing in order to prevent more flooding? As fears are today that more areas could get inundated.
Parmeshwar, the worry is that moderate rainfall is expected. When they say moderate rainfall, that's the kind of rainfall we saw over the weekend, whether it was Saturday or Sunday, even Monday, as far as the national capital is concerned. So a bit of a worry when it comes to that water that started to recede. But what really is the government doing on the ground? Let's find out with my colleague, Saurabh Shukla.
इस वक्त यमुना जो है अपने खतरे के निशान से करीब 3 मीटर ऊपर है। यमुना इस वक्त करीब 208.62 मीटर पे है, तो आप मान सकते हैं कि अपने खतरे के निशान से भी करीब 3 मीटर ऊपर है। तो नाले का लेवल नीचे हो गया है, यमुना का लेवल ऊपर हो गया है। ऐसे में बीच में रेगुलेटर लगाए जाते हैं ताकि शहर के अंदर नदी या यमुना का पानी ना घुस जाए, क्योंकि ये प्रेशर से घुसेगा नाले के जरिए। हाँ, तो ऐसे कई 17 रेगुलेटर हमारे दिल्ली में थे और ये जो ड्रेन नंबर 12 का रेगुलेटर है ये आज शाम को टूट गया। और क्योंकि टूट गया तो आप वहाँ से देखिए जो इतनी तेज़ से जो आवाज़ आ रही है, वो जो पानी की आवाज़ आ रही है, वो ये है कि नाले के अंदर यमुना का पानी उल्टा बह रहा है। तो मतलब इस स्पीड से पानी यमुना से दिल्ली शहर में घुस रहा है, क्योंकि ये ब्रीच हो गया यहाँ पे। तो अब यहाँ पे हमने लेबर मोबिलाइज की है, हमारे ऑफिसर्स हैं जो ये बेसिकली गुड अर्थ होती है, इसके कट्टे बना के एक वियर बना रहे हैं, एक तरीके का बांध बना रहे हैं, एक तरीके का बंड बन रहा है, ताकि इस नाले को यहीं पे रोका जाए और यमुना का पानी जो शहर में घुस रहा है, बहुत स्पीड से घुस रहा है, उसको तुरंत रोका जाए। तो ये करीब काम जो है पिछले 6 घंटे से तो चल रहा है और मेरा मानना है कि आने वाले 4 या 5 घंटे के अंदर हम ये वियर तैयार कर देंगे।
यानी सुबह जब दिल्ली उठेगी तो ये
मुझे लगता है कि सुबह 5 बजे तक, 4-5 बजे तक ये वियर तैयार हो जाएगा और ये पानी जो है यहाँ पे हम रोक देंगे।
ये जो पानी जा रहा है, जैसे कि हमने बताया कि इंद्रप्रस्थ मेट्रो आगे है, आगे ये आईटीओ में पानी यहीं कहीं जाके भर रहा है फिर तो
हमारा अनुमान है कि आईटीओ पे जो पानी भरा है वो इसी नाले से जो बैक फ्लो जा रहा है वहीं भर रहा है। बल्कि ये ल्यूटन्स दिल्ली के अंदर भी नाला जाता है, तो काफ़ी सेंसिटिव एरिया है, इसलिए ज़्यादा प्राथमिकता है सरकार की कि वहाँ पे पानी ना भरे।
अभी दिल्ली में क्या स्थिति है, आपको क्या रिपोर्ट मिल रही है, क्योंकि बाढ़ के मंत्री आप हैं नियंत्रण के, अभी क्या रिपोर्ट्स हैं?
अभी देखिए पानी पिछले 3 घंटे से कुछ इंच रिसीड करा है और अभी हमारा मानना ये है कि अब ये पानी धीरे धीरे नीचे जाएगा। अगर पीछे बरसात हो जाती है तो पानी फिर उठेगा, मगर अगर पीछे बरसात नहीं होती हरियाणा, हिमाचल, उत्तराखंड में, तो ये पानी जो है धीरे धीरे इसका स्तर नीचे जाएगा और दिल्ली में राहत मिलेगी इससे।
इस आपदा में क्या दिल्ली सरकार को केंद्र सरकार का कुछ लाभ मिल रहा है, कुछ सहायता केंद्र सरकार कर रही है?
हम और केंद्र सरकार कोऑर्डिनेट करके काम कर रहे हैं और जहां तक आपदा का सवाल है, हमारी कोई जो है एक दूसरे के खिलाफ कोई फ्रिक्शन नहीं है। वी आर वर्किंग टुगेदर।
तो उम्मीद है कि आप इसे रोक लें और दिल्ली में जो कल दिल्ली उठे तब आईटीओ में पानी कम हो। और ये पानी कहाँ तक जा सकता है अगर नहीं रोका सौरभ? तो
अब देखिए, मैंने तो मीडिया में ही पढ़ा कि ये जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आसपास के इलाके को जो है फ्लड कर सकता है, तो काफ़ी सेंसिटिव जोन है जहाँ पे ये नाला जो है इफेक्ट कर सकता है। इसलिए सारी रात जग के भी जो है सारे ऑफिसर जो हैं यहाँ पे मोबिलाइज हैं, इरिगेशन फ्लड के हैं, जल बोर्ड के ऑफिसर्स हैं। मैंने बोला है कि एमसीडी के ऑफिसर्स भी यहाँ पे जल्दी पहुँचें और सब लोग अपने रिसोर्सेज मोबिलाइज करें और इसको हम रोक लेंगे।
And now that the Yamuna level has started to recede, let's get you a check on what it's like on the ground. Is there really any sort of improvement when it comes to the waterlogging situation in various parts of Delhi? We have my colleague Priyanshi joining us. Priyanshi, what's the situation on the ground this morning and how much has the water receded?
Divya, till yesterday we could at least get to that part of the city to show you how bad the water situation is. But today we can't even get to that part. We'll have to walk for around 20-25 minutes to get to the part where water has actually been accumulated. There are barricades here, and this is the state for several main roads, key ring roads, which are bridge right behind me. So that shows you that these are crucial routes of the national capital, but they've all been blocked. If I tell you how long this route has been blocked for, from here, this road is blocked till ISBT. And that's a distance of about 6 kilometers. So for 6 kilometers, there's no way for you to get from here to ISBT. You will have to take a much longer route. And this is, mind you, at 8 a.m. when there's usually no traffic in Delhi. But even at 8 a.m. there's traffic at several places because all of these key routes have been closed. If you talk about the water level, then it has definitely receded. Yesterday, it went to around 208.66, but now it has come down to around 208.46. So it is coming down. It is more or less stable till from 1 p.m. yesterday afternoon, and it is coming down now. But the situation that we are seeing, that the commute for Delhiites is even worse compared to what it was yesterday. Key routes have been closed. You can't make your way from North Delhi to Central Delhi easily. You have to take a much longer route, and those longer routes have a very high traffic because those are the only routes available. So that's the situation. This is one crucial aspect of the flooding. While several households have been completely submerged, people's livelihoods, animals have been completely submerged. One thing is that even for people who don't live around floodplains or who have not been affected by the water flow, even for those people, this is a crucial problem because they can't get to where they want to. People can't even get to work or to any important place that they want to get to because crucial roads are closed, and you would never see this road this silent at this hour of the day or during any hour of the day. These are some of the most crucial roads. So that shows you that the channels of commute, which form really the nerves of the national capital, business flows through these routes. People go to work. These channels have been blocked. And this is also the road that if you go ahead, then after that, it's the Chief Minister's residence there in Civil Lines. So if you go here, there'll be Majnu Ka Tila, then Civil Lines, but that entire area has been inundated as we've been showing you visuals. But you can't get to these parts anymore. This is one of the many roads that have been shut in Delhi. Near ITO also, the Mahatma Gandhi Road, the Mahatma Gandhi Road in any state is a key road. And that has been closed in Delhi. And that shows you that how bad the situation is, that this crucial road has been closed, and this crucial road that takes you to major destinations, connects North Delhi to the rest of the world, connects Old Delhi also to South Delhi. Those routes have been closed, and this situation remains the same near ITO as well. Now, one last thing that I want to point out is while we are talking about people who are not surrounded by water but are still impacted because of the flooding in several parts. So one impact of that, as I showed you, is the closing down of roads. Another impact is that water supply has been affected. There's no water supply because the several water treatment plants, one in Wazirabad, one in Okhla, and several other water treatment plants, around 4 in the national capital, their pump houses have been completely submerged because of the Yamuna water. As a result of that, there's no water supply today in several parts of North Delhi, in several parts of Central Delhi, and in several parts of South Delhi as well. These areas include Civil Lines, where the Chief Minister himself lives. This area also includes Punjabi Bagh. It includes Greater Kailash. So it includes several parts of Central Delhi, North Delhi, and South Delhi. All have been affected by not just water around them, but also the commute being shut down, no water supply, and in several areas, including these areas which are surrounded by water, there's no power supply. So you can only imagine how these people spent the night with water all around them and no power supply. This crucial road that you're seeing behind me and the main ring road of the national capital, people were living in bungalows even around that, had no power supply yesterday. Even the street lights were turned off, according to what we are being told by residents. So that's an unprecedented scene, something that the national capital has never witnessed, because the Yamuna water level has not gone so high. But fortunately, there's some slight relief as the water level is receding today. But we'll only be able to see whether that actually changes anything on the ground. It'll still take around 3 to 4 days for the situation to even get close to normal, even if the water consistently recedes.
Priyanshi, the worry is that it's going to continue raining in the national capital, and according to the forecast, moderate rainfall is expected. So way more than a usual day as far as the monsoon season is concerned. And like you mentioned, water everywhere, but not a drop to spare. People and their struggles continue as far as the national capital is concerned. Visuals on your scene from the national capital, the areas continue to be flooded, no electricity and traffic jams. Do keep that in mind when you do venture out today, that there are jams that are expected because of the waterlogging situation and also because of the rain situation that's expected over today as well as tomorrow.
Well, in other news, the Prime Minister will be part of the Bastille Day celebrations in Paris today. Earlier, he addressed the Indian diaspora in France and announced that India's most successful payment system, UPI, will be used in France. He also had some good news for Indian students, Divya?
Right. So basically now Indian tourists can spend Indian rupees when they reach France, because you can pay through UPI, and that will start from the Eiffel Tower in the coming days. Now the Prime Minister has also informed us about the Indian students and that good news coming their way. Pursuing masters in France will be given a 5-year long-term post the study visa. And praising the warmth and the honor that the Prime Minister has received, he has been given, the highest order when it comes to France by President Macron, Parmeshwar.
Absolutely, but congratulating the people of France on their National Day. He has been invited for this. We're going to have our contingent participate in France's National Day celebrations as well. That is the plan of action for the day today.
Right, Parmeshwar. So lots are lined up when it comes to the Prime Minister. He also, being very symbolic there, spoke about, Mbappe, the footballer. Then he said that there are more fans in Indian villages than even in France. The Prime Minister also declared that a new world order is emerging when he spoke to that Indian community in France, talking about where India will not let any opportunity pass, pointing to India helming the G20 this year. He said the country's experience in multiple fields when it comes to climate change, global supply chain to terrorism. He is talking about how India will be helpful for the world.
साथियों, भारत फ्रांस पार्टनरशिप को मजबूत करने वाला एक और सेक्टर है डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। ये इंडस्ट्री 4.0 उसका भी बहुत बड़ा आधार है। आज दुनिया का, और आपको जरूर गर्व होगा ये सुन करके, आज दुनिया का 46% रियल टाइम डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन भारत में होता है। फ्रांस में भारत के यूपीआई के उपयोग को लेकर भी समझौता हो गया है। अब मैं तो समझौता करके चला जाऊंगा, आगे बढ़ाने का काम आपका है।
Well, an action-packed day for the Prime Minister in Paris today. We'll keep tracking all the latest developments for you. For now, we're stepping into a very short break. On the other side. Welcome back. India's third mission to the moon, Chandrayaan-3, will take off this afternoon at 2:35 p.m. as the country aims to achieve what its predecessor could not: land softly on the lunar surface and explore it with a rover.
Well, Parmeshwar, ISRO says, learning from the last moon mission, it has reduced the number of engines on the lander from 5 to 4 and updated the software. Everything has undergone rigorous testing.
Now, Divya, a successful soft landing will make India the fourth country after the US, Russia and China to achieve the feat.
Well, Chandrayaan-1, India's maiden mission to the moon, launched in October of 2008 and remained operational till August of 2009.
Joining us for further clarity on the Chandrayaan-3 mission to better understand it, we've got on the broadcast this morning Divyanshu Podar, founder of Rocketeers, Ratan Srivastav, author and independent consultant on aerospace, and in a short while from now we will be joined by our science editor Pallav Bagla as well.
Let me take my first question to Divyanshu Podar, the founder of Rocketeers. The focus has been on what all can fail and how to prevent it. What went wrong with Chandrayaan-2 and what lessons have been learnt?
So, the design approach that ISRO has taken for this mission, as iterated by Somnath sir, who is the current chairman, is that that they have taken a failure-oriented approach rather than a success-oriented approach. So, this time the Chandrayaan mission has much more redundancies. ISRO has done a lot to ensure that failures do not occur, including strengthening of the legs. They have two engines which are being used for the soft landing. There are lots of new redundancies. There are 3 antennas that are both increasing the data rate between the ground stations and the orbiter, as well as helping with redundancy towards ensuring that data keeps flowing. There are redundancies on the sensors. The algorithms and the softwares have been improved and made more robust. So ISRO has taken a host of different sort of approaches to ensure that failures do not happen, and this mission is utilizing almost the complete capacity of the LBM-3 platform. So the mission weighs at around 3,900 kilograms, and it's utilizing almost the complete capacity of the 4-ton capacity of the LBM-3.
Right. Let's bring in Ratan Srivastav as well. Now, the success of Chandrayaan-3 will not just reaffirm ISRO's position as one of the front-ranking spacefaring nations, but don't you agree it will also then allow us to get actively involved in more collaborative missions with other space agencies?
Yes, thank you for this question, and I think it's very pertinent to note the capacity enhancement that has been brought in by Divyanshu. India has always been cooperating with spacefaring nations. We have collaborated with NASA, we have collaborated with JAXA, and we have collaborated with the European Space Agency as well, as we all know. So I think the learnings that we got from the first Chandrayaan mission, that is when we discovered water on the moon, and that was also a ISRO-NASA mission. And going on to the series of the learnings that we're going to have from Chandrayaan-2. In Chandrayaan-2, the orbiter was a success, as we know. Only the Pragyan and the Vikram couldn't work the way it was supposed to work. And in Chandrayaan-3, the knowledge and the learnings that we will get from the experiments that you're going to conduct on the one lunar day, 14 days on the moon, are probably going to be shared at some point of time with our collaborators, as India has also signed the Artemis Accord. As a part of, as a participant in the Artemis Accord, we get knowledge from our partners, and we also will share our knowledge at some point in time with partners.
Right. Let's talk about the mission. Take us through the outlook, Mr. Podar, as far as Chandrayaan is concerned. What do we hope to do with Chandrayaan? And also talk us through the landing. Now, the sun needs to rise to a certain height in order to generate sufficient power for its landing. When can we expect the landing process to start?
So, the landing site that has been selected is a polar region, and the areas very near to the pole have not been explored in situ up till now by any other spacecraft. So this is the first time that ISRO is sort of going there in situ. The chance, the MEEP that we had on Chandrayaan-1, where we had a moon impact probe, which was just thrown onto the moon at Chandrayaan-1, and also was one of the instruments responsible for discovering water. That was also there in situ, but this is for the first time that we will actually have a robotic system that we can monitor, that has much more data collection capabilities. that is going to be there in such a region. As for the sun rising, ISRO has already, firstly, ISRO has doubled the capacity of the battery. So earlier the battery was 5,000 ampere hours, 5 ampere hours, and currently the battery capacity is at 10 ampere hours. And so that obviously helps with a much longer battery lifespan. But as the rover separates from the lander, the rover needs to be in the view of the lander. So that's why the terrain matters a lot. So even when the sun is there and the battery power is available, but if the terrain of the landing site is such that the rover cannot move away while being in the view of the lander, then that might be a problem. And so that's why the landing site that has been selected is in such a way that it's a vast flat expanse, so that the rover can move away and explore and still remain within the camera view of the lander.
In fact, Mr. Srivastav, a successful soft landing this afternoon will make India the 4th country, just after the United States, Russia and China, to achieve this feat. So we're part of the big league post 2:35 p.m. today, if all goes well.
Commissioner, I just wanted to add a little bit to what Divyanshu just said. ISRO has selected 2 spots, the primary and a secondary spot for landing, which is different from the first spot, firstly. And the area selected for landing is vaster compared to the Chandrayaan-2. The second part of the story is this, that let's say for some reason we are not able to land on the moon on the designated date, which is probably the 22nd or the 23rd of August, and not now. Today is just the launch. We are going to do the injection, and thereafter we have to take it to the lunar orbit. So the landing would probably happen on 23rd, if all goes well.
Right.
Just for some reason, if the landing is not possible, let's say some technical reason or something, the current propulsion module is and the lander and the rover are carrying enough propellants in it to sustain it through 1 lunar day, that is another 28 days, and they can land on the moon on the next lunar day whenever it happens. So I think the ISRO has taken all the lessons that it has learned from Chandrayaan-2, built into a robust system, which will possibly cater for all the unforeseen circumstances that could probably occur. It has also strengthened the legs, as you probably are aware. It has also increased the margin for rate of descent. The rate of descent is supposed to be 2 meters per second, but it will cater to up to 3 meters per second. So I think all probable, all probable exigencies have been taken into account, and we should be able to land on the moon on 23rd August.
Right. We also have Pallab Bagla joining us. Sir, the Chandrayaan can only last for 1 moon day. How many Earth days does that translate to? And does weather play a role in its launch?
Well, good morning to all interstellar travelers. Happy to be on air with Ratan and Mr. Poddar and our weather person.
Pallab sir, we're the luckier ones.
I am really grateful to you. It is indeed a big launch. ISRO has prepared well. The weather, I am told, at Sriharikota is conducive for a launch to take place at 2:35 p.m. But the weather on the moon is what will decide whether we have a successful landing on August 23rd or not. These are risky missions. ISRO has prepared well. Hard lessons have been learned from Chandrayaan-2. ISRO was flying the Vikram lander with 5 engines during Chandrayaan-2, and that caused a lot of problem for the Vikram lander. This time the 5th engine has been removed, which was introduced almost at the last minute, and that is why the Vikram lander went out as an under-tested machine. This time, Indian Space Research Organization has done many tests which are called off-nominal tests. And this time, success should come India's way in soft landing on the moon. And when it happens, India will still be the 4th country to have successfully soft landed on the moon. Only Russia, America, and China have successfully soft landed on the moon. And it is so risky. That's why it's called minutes of terror as it comes into land. After India's Chandrayaan-2 Vikram lander failed, another soft landing by Israel and then another soft landing by Japan failed. So we are in for a difficult time, but yes, I have great confidence, like Mr. S. Somanath told us in an exclusive interview, that all the known unknowns have been taken care of, and it is thumbs up today for a liftoff of Chandrayaan-3 on India's Bahubali rocket.
Well, thank you so much, Pallav sir, for joining us with that update. Thank you, gentlemen, for making time for us. Scientists at ISRO, through this third moon mission, aim to demonstrate various capabilities, as both our guests have highlighted as well, including reaching the orbit of the moon, making a soft landing on the lunar surface using a lander and a rover coming out of the lander to study the surface of the moon. A successful soft landing, as Pallav sir has mentioned, will make India the fourth country after the US, Russia and China to achieve the feat. All eyes on this event at 2:35 p.m. this afternoon. Well, with that, we're slipping into a very short break. News and updates continue in a moment.